And good evening, high school football fans. We welcome you here to our first edition of the Gulf Coast Blitz. We bring it to you here on Facebook, also YouTube, FloridaHSFootball.com. And, you got to reverse those again.
Yeah, I did it again.
I am not Joshua Wilson. I am Marty
go.
Pallman, and he is Joshua Wilson of FloridaHSFootball.com. And we are happy to bring you this inaugural show of the Gulf Coast Blitz. I already had the North Florida Blitz and the Central Florida Blitz coming up later, the South Florida Blitz. But every Tuesday night, every Friday night we have football. Every Tuesday night at 9 o'clock, we will have this Gulf Coast Blitz for you, hopefully definitely for the foreseeable future. And we'll take you into flag football season as well coming up in the spring. But Josh, right now, basically we're going to cover high school football from Sumter and Citrus counties all the way down to Lee County and Collier County and Naples. So covered Tampa Bay as well for the Gulf Coast Blitz, and we look forward to this first show tonight.
No, absolutely, and of course a lot there to get into here because there is some stuff going on across this stretch of the corridor. Like basically, I-75 traverses this entire section.
That's right, pretty much. Yep.
I could have probably called it the I-75 show.
That's true.
Absolutely.
Gulf Coast works. It's true.
It's all on the Gulf Coast.
That's
and also
right.
Includes parts of the Lakeland and the Highlands too. So
Polk
y'all are
County,
included in this.
Right. Down in Manatee, Sarasota, Charlotte County, all the way down to Fort Myers, Lee County, Naples, and Collier County. Speaking of Naples and Collier County, our guests coming up, we're going to have something called the interview every week. Our first guest on this Gulf Coast Blitz coming up in about 10 minutes is the assistant head coach, defensive coordinator of Golden Gate High School in Naples, as they are coming off a huge upset, a big win over Naples High School. So we will talk to him about the attitude there, how they feel after that big victory. That is PJ Gibbs. We'll talk to in just a few moments. But first, Josh, we're going to start this every week with this show. We have what we call the Blitz Lines, our headlines of the week. Yes. Breaking news music there.
Absolutely.
For the Gulf Coast. What is in the news? Yes, that is correct. And what is in the news for the Gulf Coast? Starting off, as we just mentioned, Golden Gate upsetting Naples for the first time ever. Golden Gate beats Naples High School.
No, absolutely. And this is huge. I mean, Golden Gate, they've been a team they've had a lot of their own struggles over the course of time and everything. But I will tell you this, what Golden Gate did Friday night, I'm telling you, they pushed Bartow, by the way, a couple of weeks ago. They did push Bartow. By the way, Michael Parsons loving it with Golden Gate. He is commenting there on Facebook. Appreciate the comment there. Golden Gate, this has been a long time coming that somebody would think. A few years ago during COVID, Palmetto Ridge beat Naples pretty soundly, shut them out. But there's no Bill Kramer there at Naples anymore. Hasn't been there for a while. And, some people are asking the question, is this maybe the fall of the dynasty, of the Naples dynasty? They've been pretty dominant there in Southwest Florida for over 20 years. Yeah,
it was going to be hard for them to continue to win like as they did when Bill Kramer was coaching them. But, he's just a legend. He's a Hall of Fame coach. And they've had some good years as well. But, yeah, it's always good to see teams come out and win games like that haven't won before. And a rivalry game like that, it's congratulations to Golden Gate for their victory. And I'm sure that'll hopefully propel them for the rest of the season down there in Collier County, which, by the way, you mentioned Naples, and we're going to talk about this too, but we have Charles Bell who says he thinks the Lakeland Dreadnoughts are back on track after a dominating win over Kissimmee Osceola. Another road shutout, 26-0. We talked about this in the Central Florida Blitz. Osceola's 0-4 now, but Lakeland, of course, lost week 1. And since then has really been pretty dominant in the last 3 games.
No, absolutely. You're right about that, Marty. And I tell you, it's definitely one of those things that, it's definitely dominant there. Lakeland, this is the place. So you really want to talk Lakeland, this will be it right here for you, Charles. But, Lakeland's 2-2 right now in the season. I think, head coach Marvin Frazier in his first year after taking over for the legendary Bill Castle.
Yeah.
After 50 plus years between his Bill Castle being assistant coach and the head coach there. That's some big shoes to fill.
Speaking of Hall of Fame coaches, yeah, I know. Geez, it's tough to replace those guys. You're right, and they lost their first opening game of the season to Miami Norland, who has been playing really well. But Charles says he thinks that they're through the tough part of their schedule, season going 13-2 and winning another 4S state championship. We will see because it's going to be tough, but we'll see if Lakeland can get that done as the season goes on.
No, I agree with. I think really honestly, and since considering that Class 4S covers a big stretch of this region between from all the way from the North Suncoast all the way down to Naples, I think Class 4S is just totally wide open this year. I don't think there's a clear cut who is going to necessarily win it because you got U-Holtz up in the north here. You got obviously Venice still lurking around Lakeland as well. There's so many teams. I think. Really, Marty, at the end of the day, it's going to be a dogfight when it comes playoff time for that.
Yeah, and you can't count Lakeland out. You're right; they're always going to be there as well. As we got a lot of time to talk about that as the season goes on. But looking at another Blitz line this week, the teams with surprising starts, and we're going to look in Tampa Bay for this. Riverview, who is 4-0, and same with Alonzo in Tampa, who's 4-0. Two teams that we don't normally probably talk about in the Tampa Bay area off to really good starts.
No, we don't, but that's a big thing, especially Riverview there in Hillsborough County. I mean, they beat East Bay for the first time in many years, and that's huge right there. And head coach Tony Gonzalez is making sure I got his name correct here because there's so many coaches, 600 plus coaches that have to keep up here in the state. That's just his head coaches, by the way. That's not even including assistant coaches, numerous assistant coaches as well. But I'll tell you what, Riverview themselves. 4-0. The big question though for me with Riverview is that I wonder, looking at it, is the strength of schedule going to come and hurt them, especially if they keep winning games? They don't play the best quality schedule there in Hillsborough County. Hillsborough County is in a tiered system, and Riverview, I believe, is in that tier 3, which is more of the teams that have underperformed over the last few years. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of curious about that now. Another team that we don't talk about much. Their new program they started up. Their first season was 2020 during COVID year, and that was Sumner, and they're 4-0 right now. And they beat a pretty good Gaylord team there to move to 4-0. So I'm really especially Hillsborough County. It's interesting to see who's going to emerge other than your traditionals of in terms of the public schools there, like your Armwood, who's by the way undefeated. They beat Venice week 1, and then Tampa Bay Tech.
Yeah, it looks like Armwood might be back right now after the way they were playing is, and Tampa Bay Tech's been pretty solid as well. Hillsborough County is always kind of interesting because it seems like it's kind of hit or miss there with the teams that can make a run or get to that point in the season to win a state title, but. Yeah, Charles asked again, do you think Lakeland's a favorite to be in the 4S state championship? I think you answered that question. They can be.
But they can be, yes. Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
But, watch out for Sumner. Better every year, Michael Parsons says. So Josh mentioned them as well. What, a fourth-year school now? And Sumner, third or fourth year?
Yeah, they opened in 2020, so right during the COVID year. Yeah. So they've got Alonzo Ashwood is the head coach there, but he's doing really well. And Marty, another thing before we get down to our water break and our
water break.
Dunbar is struggling. They 40-39. They won in overtime against Fort Myers, and they lost pretty badly to Bishop Road the week before that. Mm-hmm. So, and that's a team that's 4-0 down there in that Southwest Florida, Bishop Road. Yeah,
Bishop Road off to a good start. But Dunbar is a team we talk about in Fort Myers every year. It seems like. I think last year Mainland knocked them out on their way to the state championship game against Lake Wales. But yeah, Dunbar is a contender. They don't always get to the state championship game. They usually get 3 or 4 rounds, maybe 2 or 3 rounds in the playoffs. So that's a team in Fort Myers, probably the top team, one of the top teams in Lee County there right now. So yeah, a little bit surprising maybe for Dunbar. They're not used to this, but they were, as you said, able to get by in their last game, but still have been struggling a bit for them early this season. So, all right, well, let's go ahead. As you said, water break, as we call it. We got a water break coming up. We have the interview coming up with PJ Gibbs, assistant head coach, defensive coordinator of Golden Gate High School in Naples. And later on, we're going to have something called the Pick 6. We're going to pick 6 games from the Gulf Coast area, and that'll be later on in the show coming up in about 10 or 12 minutes or so here on the Gulf Coast Blitz. But we will take a 1-minute water break back in a moment with Coach Gibbs of Golden Gate High School after this. All right. I'll let you. You can lead him.
You ready to roll this? You ready to roll it?
Yeah, you can bring him in if you want. Yeah.
And welcome back here on the Blitz, the Gulf Coast Blitz. Joshua Wilson Marty Pallman here, and joining us now is the assistant head coach, defensive coordinator, also recruiting coordinator. Couldn't put it all in the title because it's one title more, and that is PJ Gibbs. There, PJ has been following FloydHSFootball.com for a long time, and is very extensive as being assistant coach and head coach down there in Southwest Florida. And Coach, I'm glad. Last second they're trying to get you to come on here, get that situated. But I figured, what no better way to talk to y'all right after the biggest program win in program history, knocking off Naples for the first time. And Coach, first describe the atmosphere from Friday night, beating Naples on their own home field at Staver Field.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, our kids, our fans were great coming out. Our administration was really supportive, and I mean, Naples has always been the standard, in Collier County. So for us to go out there and do what we did, and all the credit goes to the players. They did a tremendous job buying into our game plan, and I can't say enough about how much these kids have worked hard, and it was something you're never going to forget. And I told them that. I said, they can never take it away from you guys. Like, this is something that you'll remember for the rest of your lives. So it was pretty awesome.
Coach, how many years has Golden Gate been a school? How many years has it existed? Do you know?
18 years. And this is the first time in the history of the school that we have beaten Naples.
They played Naples every year, pretty much?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So they're part of the CCAC,
right,
just like we are. Yeah. So
okay.
Every year played Naples. Yes, sir.
That is a big deal. That's a really big deal. And it sounds like, too, as a defensive coordinator there, your defense really got it done. I mean, you forced 4 turnovers, held Naples to under 100 yards rushing. I'm sure that has to be because Naples, is a team that likes to run. And I'm sure that you got to be proud of your defense for their effort in that game. Yeah, no, 100%.
I mean, like I said, all the credit goes to the players. And I mean, they bought into our game plan, and it was as a coach, you kind of, at the day after, you kind of take a step back, right? And you just kind of, watch the film and review everything. And you're like, man, these kids just did their jobs. And it was, it's like being a dad, as you're extremely proud of your kids and what they've done. And I'm just, like I said, those kids have worked so hard. I can't say how much I'm happy and proud for those guys.
No, absolutely, Coach. And, what has it been like for the entire defense holding that Naples offense to 100 yards rushing and forcing 4 turnovers? I don't think any school, like you said, what you shared on Twitter this morning, nobody has been able to do that. I mean, that is a hard thing to do, considering that Naples is usually producing running backs left and right. And I mean, that is so tough right there.
Well, I think you look at the preparation and growth and 2 years ago when I was head coach at East Lee County down here, Naples beat Golden Gate 57-0. And last year I came to Golden Gate and we were tied 7-7.5 with them. And they had, 2 great running backs. They had Kendrick Raphael, who's at NC State, and Isaiah Gustav, who's at Arkansas now. And, we ended up losing, by a few touchdowns, and, to come back and to keep working hard and, to do what we did on Thursday night, it just shows a testament to the work ethic of our defensive kids and the buy-in to what we're doing. And we just hope to keep it going throughout the season and, see where it's going to take us.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that, Coach. Obviously, that's, a big win for you guys. You got to be happy about that. But where do you see this team going as the season goes on, as you head towards the postseason?
Yeah, we have Gulf Coast this week, who's a very tough physical football team, and Coach Nichols and those guys do a great job, with their team, and I think you're going to get a lot of coach speak from you, right? You have to take it really, one day at a time, and one game at a time. But the ultimate goal is to be in the postseason, and you guys know for as long as you've been doing this, like, anything can happen in the postseason. It doesn't matter what seed you are or where you play. You hit lightning in a bottle, right? So it's something that we hopefully have an opportunity to be there at the end of the year. And, after our rivalry game with Palmetto Ridge in the first week of November, to be playing a home playoff game. And it's a tournament, right? It's something that's a, single elimination, and you have to not turn the ball over. You have to be great on special teams. You have to take away the offense's best player, and you have to exploit their defense with your offense. So it's something that, we preach every day, working in the weight room. And, like I said, our guys are dialed in, they're locked in, and we have another challenge this Friday. So it's a road test for us. And, we just hope to be, coming out the other side of that road test on Friday.
No, absolutely, Coach. And of course, looking at everything, in this situation, again, you talk about coach speak, but y'all's district, I think the next, Gulf Coast is not a district game; it's a non-district game. But I mean, looking at the remaining teams that you've got in your district, I think the next biggest challenge you got is sitting there is Barron Collier, and they're a gritty group there.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Jackson, I've coached against him for years, and he does a tremendous job with his offense. And Coach Bohannon, who's the DC, is a former player of mine from when I was at Gulf Coast when I first moved down here. So they do a really good job with fundamentals. And they got Nico Boyce, who's one of the better quarterbacks in our area. And, when we get there, we got to get, Gulf Coast, and then we go FBA, who just added Winston Watkins. So, you got to get ready for that stuff, with him and Jaden Petit, who are two of the better receivers in the state. So, that'll be a challenge for us. That thankfully for us, Coach, Josh mentioned with Barron Collier, we get a week to get ready for them. We had a bye week before them, so it'll be good for our kids to, rejuvenate and rejuice. And, we love challenges. Everybody always counts us out, which is what we love. We always play with a chip on our shoulder, and I think we turned a lot of heads last Thursday when we played, but we told our kids all week, like, nobody cares now what happened last week. You got to push forward and, keep doing your job and doing what you're supposed to do, and keep fighting forward and just keep getting prepared for Gulf Coast on Friday.
No, absolutely. And Coach, we got a question from a viewer is asking, and you can probably answer this the best. I mean, is Golden Gate a senior heavy team?
Yeah, I mean, we have, defensively last year, we had a lot of underclassmen. Right now we have 8 out of 11 kids on our defense, which are seniors, but we rotate juniors and sophomores in. But yeah, I would say for us defensively, we're very senior laden. So, that's one thing that our guys have done a great job with leadership, through the senior class. Yes, sir. Yeah, we do have a lot of seniors on our defense.
No.
Well, no, Coach, and again, I know Josh and I have both been down there to Naples for games before. It's a tough place to win, so I know you guys have got to be happy. As you said, though, it's not going to help you this week and throughout the rest of the season, but I know it's still a big deal to win that game last week.
Can you repeat that?
You got a weak signal there.
That's okay. No, we have it. Okay.
Yeah, we got a weak signal, and Coach Gibbs all of a sudden.
We'll go ahead and.
Can you hear us, Coach, again? I think you had a weak signal there that came through.
No, it's still not moving really.
I don't know if it's a thing, but
okay. Well, we appreciate Coach Gibbs coming on.
Yeah, we appreciate it, Coach. And if you can still hear us real quick, the signal definitely has gone down. So we appreciate Coach Gibbs joining us here and everything. And Coach, I appreciate it. We'll try to get y'all back hopefully as the season progresses. And we appreciate you joining us here on the North Coast Blitz. All right.
Yeah, again, live show. So that will happen sometimes.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Josh, I can hear you now.
Oh.
Yeah, it's kind of in and out. So, but we gotta appreciate you being able to join us here and everything. So it's a thing, and yep, it kind of went out right there, and he is gone there, and we're gonna do the next thing, Marty, and that is
rankings. We're gonna look at the rankings for teams in the region, the Gulf Coast region, and these are from the from FloridaHSFootball.com, the weekly rankings.
No, absolutely. And Marty, looking at the rankings here for going here in terms of the rankings that we've got right now and everything, we got in terms of the teams in the region here. The first team that we're going to see from the Gulf Coast side of this and our Blitz here is Armwood sitting there at number 8, and then we're going right down the stretch here, and it's kind of. It really is tough that stretch of region. Like Venice started out in the top 25. They're not in the top 25 right now. So it's kind of like, the next team that's sitting there that's really, from that particular region is Clearwater Central Catholic, who just entered the top 25, who's sitting there 4-0. So that's the thing. And then Lakeland is another team right there sitting there at 14. So that's the three biggest teams right there, right the second in the Florida top 25 in the stretch along I-75.
Yeah, and despite being 2-2, Lakeland is ranked, as you said. So already they've been able to move back up due to their schedule and winning a couple games. So, yeah, you said that as well as Armwood is ranked number 1 in the 3M poll right now.
Absolutely. Of course, then Tampa Bay Tech is sitting there at number 6, and then of course outside of Hillsborough and Pinellas counties, who are metro counties, everybody else along that corridor is in suburban. So, and that's where you'll find a lot more of the teams sitting down. And of course, Venice sitting at number 5 in 4S, Manatee at number 7 there, and then going down to 3S, and right there, Naples got knocked out. Golden Gate is sitting there right there on the cusp of breaking into the rankings. It was a coin flip between Zephyrhills and Golden Gate, and Zephyrhills right this second, just in terms of their schedule, just a slight tad bit tougher, but right this second. But Golden Gate sitting there knocking on the door. Yeah. If they go through and win out the rest of their schedule, I think we could be talking about Golden Gate being ranked for the first time ever. So,
right, and that'd be something for them. As you mentioned, Lake Wales is 3rd and 3S, the defending state champions, so they're still hanging around in Polk County. But yeah, it is a big, like I said, big deal for Golden Gate, big win. They want to keep going, but beating Naples, I'm sure, is something that kind of they really is a goal of theirs they've had, and they've been able to get to that as well. You mentioned Bishop Barrow; they are ranked 5th in 2S, unbeaten. Off to a good start.
No, absolutely. Frostproof sitting there at number 9. Fort Meade sitting there knocking on the door, looking at getting in. South Sumter, who's part of this actually in this stretch, South Sumter 3-1, sitting there at number 4. And in 1S, top 5 teams last week in 1S all lost, and it's kind of hard what to do with when these teams move. But Trinity Catholic lost, but yet moved up in the ranking because it was the team they played, Carrollwood Day, a very, very good team. And I will tell you, it's definitely something that I can tell you it's worth keeping an eye on here, and especially. But right now, it's First Baptist sitting there at 1, and of course you got a couple other teams down that stretch sitting there. Evangelical Christian at 6, and then Victory Christian 7, Zephyrhills Christian 8, Community School Naples sitting there at 9 now, and of course there's
Cardinal Mooney 3rd, Lakeland Christian for you. A lot of those teams.
Moorhaven was sitting there ranked right on the bottom end, but lost to Avalon County out of Georgia, sitting there at 2-2, and St. John Newman sitting there right there in the edge as well. So
that's a lot of 1S teams in the Gulf Coast area, so at least ranked in that top 10. All right, Josh, thanks for the rankings. As always, we'll go over those every week as well, every Tuesday for the Gulf Coast Blitz. Another thing we're going to do every week is we call it the Pick 6. We're going to pick 6 games from the Gulf Coast region here in the Gulf Coast Blitz, and Josh and I will see what our records are. We'll go back and forth at each other every week, and this week we're going to start with a pretty good matchup in Polk County. It'll be Bartow at Auburndale, 2 teams off to really good starts.
Yeah, you're right, Marty. Auburndale and Bartow there. A really good, strong matchup there. Bartow sitting there at 4-0. Auburndale, I believe, 3-0. So 2 teams undefeated. Someone's going to have to take a loss here. And football in Polk County is some of the best football you can see anywhere in the Sunshine State. And this one, I like what Bartow's done. They have beaten some really good teams. Golden Gate was the one team that they beat. And so they handed Golden Gate their only loss so far. But I think it speaks itself. But Auburndale, it's a tough outing at home. I'm going to take the Bloodhounds here in this one.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one. You're right. Both teams undefeated. Bartow's really off to a good start for them at 4-0, but I think I'm with you. It's Auburndale, and probably is going to be a close game, but I'll take this home team Auburndale in this game.
No, absolutely, and that's we're gonna we're same on that one here, and
Yeah,
Marty. Yeah, sorry.
No, I was going to say next game, Clearwater Central Catholic at Sebring, the Blue Streaks of Sebring hosting Clearwater Central Catholic.
Yeah, the Marauders and the Blue Streaks. I mean, I love the name because what's interesting about Highlands County, real quick, is you got the Avon Park Red Devils, Sebring Blue Streaks, and the Lake Placid Green Devils. So the color of their mascot is front and center in their mascots there in Highlands County.
You go up to Central Florida, they got the Apopka Blue Darters, yeah. And you're right, in Pinellas County, you got the St. Petersburg Green Wave. Yeah, that's true. You got a lot of those around there. But this is going to be Clearwater Central, man. What a schedule they played already. And
4-0.
Yeah, and they beat Clearwater last week on the road. They've already taken care of Trinity Catholic. I like Clearwater to win this game. I mean, I think they're that good. I know Sebring's been having a pretty good team as well, but I'm not picking against the Marauders, I think, at this point.
And Sebring is a really good team. I like what LeVar Scott's got there for his team. They came up just short against Lake Wells a couple of weeks ago, 7-0. And I'd be honest with you, though, Clearwater Central Catholic, to me, is the better team, especially the strength of schedule, 4-0 on the season. And the teams they had beaten, also Berkeley Prep is one of the other teams they had to come back and win behind and win in week 1. I am going with the Marauders of CCC there to there in week 5.
Okay. Go ahead.
And looking at the next game here, Tampa Catholic at Berkeley Prep. I mean, we're just going to keep it right there along the bay there, the I-275.
Hillsborough County, yep. And I mean, this is going to be a battle, I think. But I'm going to take Berkeley Prep. I'm not completely convinced, but I'll stick with Berkeley Prep. I think that they'll be able to pull this one out at home. Again, another good team, Tampa Catholic. This should be a fun game between these two Hillsborough County private schools.
There was a lot of hype about Tampa Catholic in the offseason there. And a lot of good players. Don't get me wrong. I like what Tampa Catholic has. Jerry's American Tire as well with his coaching and stuff. But, I just don't know. I feel like I don't know. Sometimes maybe it's a Jekyll and Hyde situation with how to figure out Tampa Catholic and Berkeley Prep. Dom Sayo. I mean, you can't go against a legendary coach there, and I'm going to go with Berkeley in this one.
All right, we agree so far on everything. Then our next games, and we're going to stay in Hillsborough County. Armwood at Jesuit.
And Marty, this one is going to be difficult because Jesuit is struggling. Jesuit has struggled out the gate. They only have one. They're 1-2 right now. They were on a bye week last week. Armwood sitting there undefeated, 3-0. I mean, this is of course Armwood. Matt Thompson, who coached at Armwood for years before he took over at Jesuit, so he was assistant coach there. So. It's a battle here, but Armwood's just really, really strong, and I have got to go with the Hawks.
Yeah, I'm going with Armwood as well. They seem to be back to what Armwood has been through the years. I think, as you mentioned, Jesuit a little bit down, but I would take Armwood probably either way, even on the road. Armwood will probably win this game and stay unbeaten. All right. By the way, we had a question. I'm talking about Avon Park. There's something going wrong down there. They are 0-3, just forfeited their game to Parrish. They haven't scored a single point all year so far. So. That's interesting. First I'd heard about that as well. All right, Manatee at Port Charlotte, and I tell you what, I'm not going to go against Manatee. So give me Manatee on the road in this one.
At Port Charlotte, the Pirates are really good. Their only loss so far is to Bishop Rowe, who's again flexing their muscle down there in Southwest Florida. But I'm going to tell y'all right now, what's going on with for Manatee with Jaquez Green. I believe this is his 3rd season now. Jaquez Green for the former Gator great there.
Mm-hmm. Did he coach at Lincoln?
He was with assistant coach there with Yusef Shakir.
That's
there.
Right.
So he was with Yusef down there.
Manatee,
Manatee. And I cannot go against the Hurricanes in this one just because Manatee just looks really good. And I think they made it. If anybody was not thinking about Manatee being in the mix for the Forest State Championship, you might want to recalculate your equation there.
Right, I think so too. And so we all agree so far. And then our final game was it what team we just talked about. We'll go down to Naples to Collier County. Golden Gate on the road again after beating Naples last week. This week at Gulf Coast.
No, you're absolutely right there, Marty. Golden Gate at Gulf Coast, and I like what Golden Gate's doing, especially if you're coming off a big win against Naples. I know coach speak. I get it. I absolutely get coach speak on this one. But I'm telling you what, give me Golden Gate. Give me the Titans over the Sharks, and I'm gonna roll the dice on that one.
I don't normally root for teams named Titans, especially in Tennessee, but as a Jaguars fan. But yeah, this one I agree. I'm not going to go against the hot team in Golden Gate. I think they win this as well. Hopefully not a letdown after beating Naples. I don't think they will. I think they're ready to make a run here. So I'll go with the Golden Gate on the road as well. And we are 6 for 6. We agree on everything.
I know that's strange considering considering in the North Florida Blitz and the Central Florida Blitz.
We had differences there.
We've had some differences there, so
right.
you're absolutely right. It's definitely interesting for that one to say the least. We're gonna be all right or we're gonna be
all wrong,
wrong,
or in the middle somewhere maybe,
or maybe in the middle. You're absolutely right. So I think that's going to be really interesting to see what happens here this week.
Well, it is going to be interesting, and we look forward to talking about it next Tuesday. We'll do this every Tuesday night, starting at 9 o'clock here on the Gulf Coast Blitz. And we look forward to talking to you again next Tuesday night here on FloridaHSFootball.com, on Facebook, and on X as well, or Twitter, so call it that. But coming up, one more show in about 15 minutes, the South Florida Blitz. You can check that out with Josh and myself. That's coming up as well. The North Florida Blitz and Central Florida, we already had those earlier tonight. But we appreciate you watching the Gulf Coast Blitz. We'll talk to you again next Tuesday at 9 o'clock. For Joshua Wilson, I'm Marty Pallman. So long, and enjoy your high school football week. Okay, one more. Okay, awesome.